Just 1 second. We're just, are we working on that issue with the audio, Marilyn? You want me to wait or just to carry on? Okay, excellent. I think we're good now on the audio. Thank you for that. If you can press the button when your microphone goes red, introduce yourself and whether if you agree with the staff recommendation. Thank you.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Pavandeep, and I'm the applicant for this application. So, as per our discussion with the staff, they advise the type A barrier-free and the 2 bicycle parkings there. So, as per their recommendations, we added those parking and updated the sizes there. So, we are good with that.
Excellent, thank you. Now I'd like to invite any parties that are in opposition to make oral submissions. Seeing none. If the agent applicant has any comments, you've made them already, so thank you. Members of the committee, do you have any questions for the agent or the applicant? Seeing none. Any questions, city staff? Seeing none. Well, I will wait for someone to make a motion. Member Bob?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and just a congratulations to the applicant and to staff. It's nice to see that can come to a complete agreement. So I will move that this be approved as per the staff report.
Excellent, thank you. I'll need a seconder. Member Marco? Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, so I will call for the vote. All those in favor to approve? Carried unanimously. Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, next we move to new business. So we have A 2025-043 and A 2025-044, 82 Brunswick Avenue. And before we get started on this, I just wanted to let people know that are watching online and in the gallery as well, that written submissions are taken into consideration. We do get them in our big giant agenda package. Ones that are sent in afterwards, we get them through email. And then those that don't make it through email, we do get here in writing, and that the committee members do read them all. So when you do get a chance, if you do want to make an oral submission, just try to provide information that's perhaps not written here, just move things along. But anything that is written, we do receive and we do read, so we do appreciate that, so thank you. So if I can ask now the planning coordinator to introduce the application as well as the staff recommendation, please, on Brunswick. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chair. 2 applications before you for minor variance. There are 2 applications before you because there is a future severance possible in the future, I guess. So it's a semi-detached dwelling that they're proposing to build, demolish the existing dwelling that's there. There are 3 variances for each dwelling. Future dwelling, front yard landscaped area reduced from 20 to 15%, to permit a driveway width of 5.2 meters, whereas the bylaw only permits 3 meters, to permit a rear yard setback of 6.6, where the bylaw only requires, where the bylaw requires 7.5, and then the other half of the semi-detached dwelling requires a rear yard setback of 5.1 meters rather than the required 7.5. So staff have reviewed these variances in light of the 4 tests of the Planning Act. We find that they do not meet all 4 tests, and we are recommending refusal. I do note that there have been some written submissions for referencing 271, 273 Hartwood Avenue. This property did come in for a minor variance back in March of 2023. The bylaw had recently changed to reduce the driveway widths, and staff did not support these minor variances for these 2 properties. The variances was subsequently appealed to the Ontario Land Tribunal, and I'm happy to say that the Ontario Land Tribunal upheld staff's and the committee's recommendation of refusal. So we've been pretty consistent with driveway widths and not recommending approval, and I would note that they've indicated that there's still problems with parking in this area. I would encourage, and I know that they've said that in the written submissions, that they continue to contact bylaw enforcement, but I would suggest that this continue to take place to enforce and uphold the zoning bylaw. So I don't want to see the same situation happen in this property, and as I said, staff are recommending refusal. These variances do not meet the 4 tests of the Planning Act.
Yeah, thank you for that. If now I can invite the agent or applicant, 42 Brunswick, to come forward to the microphone. And if you can introduce yourself, please, and let us know if you are in support of the staff recommendation. Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Matt Phipps. With me here is Amy. She's the owner of the property. Sorry, did you say are we in support of the recommendation or support of the variances, just to be clear?
Correct, if you're in support of the recommendation, which is refusal, so obviously
Then
not.
no.
Thank you. I'd now like to invite parties in opposition to make any oral submissions. They are to my left and your right there, if you'd like. And again, I ask you to keep your comments brief and try not to repeat anything that's been written already then. Thank you. And before speaking, if you'd mind introducing yourself. The microphone's just over there by that white little sign.
Hello, my name is Reed Miller. I'm a resident on Brunswick Avenue. Thanks for allowing me to speak today. I understand the topic of today's meeting is about the minor variances requested, so I'll try to focus my comments on those. Regarding the 4 tests for minor variances, the staff's report prepared for today's meeting can speak to the first 2 better than I could. I would only add that I agree with the staff's recommendation to reject the variances. That they do not meet the intent of the official plan, nor do they meet the intent of the zoning bylaw. I will comment a bit on the 3rd test. Are the effects of the variances minor? And the 4th test, are the variances desirable for the appropriate development of the land and building? I'd like to tie my comments on these points to the developer's written submission. The developer called out that the submissions of Brunswick neighbors brought up snow removal, parking required by zoning bylaws, and the topic of housing density as a whole, and dismissed them as unrelated to the topic of the minor variances they are seeking. I would argue that the neighborhood's immediate reaction highlights that the aggregate effects of these variances and the presumed severing of the lot are not minor at all. If these minor variances are not granted, the developer's concept plan varies drastically, falling back to an 8-unit as-of-right plan with tiny ADUs that are even more undesirable to tenants. The developer describes family-oriented housing and 2 or 3 bedroom units inside, which may be sufficient to have a room for your kids. However, the variances requested outside come at a significant impact to the livability of the development and also its appeal to families. The landscaping variance compromises important green space, privacy, and practicality. Requesting nearly double the allowable driveway width out front points to insufficient parking, which compromises safety. This development would be crowded. Consider the impact of 15 to 20 people living on this 51-foot wide lot. This is not practical, sustainable, or desirable. In aggregate, these variances are not minor, nor are they appropriate for the neighborhood. There are other ways to redevelop this property for density that respectfully addresses Ontario's housing needs. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Caleb Jackett. I live at 91 Brunswick. The only thing that I am looking to add is to reinforce the definition of community in the context. I have behind me, I think it's 7 neighborhood houses, and I speak for more who couldn't attend the meeting today because they had other obligations, but I just want to reinforce that as far as community goes, this is a community, and if there's anywhere that I feel that bylaws should be protected, it is here. We've got lots of young kids that we represent, and like Reed said, this would be a drastic change to how we go about engaging in our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If I'm seeing no other oral submissions, invite members of the committee if you have any questions of those here speaking opposition. Seeing none, I'd now like to invite then the agent to make any comments, if any.
Yeah, I'd just like to start off by saying thank you to the members of the community and to the members of the committee for taking their time out of their day to be here today. We have prepared a statement in length because we feel there is a misunderstanding about our intentions with this development, and we want to be clear about why we stand behind our proposal. I want this to be an open discussion, and I would love to answer all of your questions and concerns. If we can wait until I kind of get to the end of my statements for more of that, if that's okay with you guys.
Absolutely, go ahead.
So the City of Kitchener and the Province of Ontario has recently recognized what we call the missing middle in development projects and has introduced initiatives to make this missing middle more attainable. Traditionally in cities, Kitchener being one of them, we see suburban neighborhoods growing on the outskirts of town and condo towers going up downtown. These recent initiatives, coined by the City of Kitchener as the Growing Together initiatives, brought a number of changes to neighborhoods across the city with a focus on infill development projects on existing lots to increase density and reduce urban sprawl. These changes include such things as reduced parking in central neighborhoods, even no parking in certain transit corridors. They also bring in changes for smaller lot size requirements and notably 4 units to be allowed on all residential lots in Kitchener. I would like to discuss why our current proposal at 82 and 84 Brunswick is a great fit for the neighborhood and fits perfectly into this missing middle we keep hearing reference to. I would like to start by saying that based on the current zoning bylaws and regulations, we could as of right fit 4 units on each lot. We have had lengthy discussions with our design team on how to make this work by doing a single wide driveway and garage for tandem parking and using a combination of 1-bedroom and studio attached and detached ADUs. The planning department makes reference to this in their report, specifically saying the applicant has prepared a concept plan that demonstrates an 8-unit development that could be constructed with no variances. Ultimately, our additional time and money has gone into this current proposal that requires these minor variances because we believe it's a superior project. We believe it's what's best for the City of Kitchener, we believe it's what's best for the neighborhood, and we believe it's what's best for the tenants that will ultimately call this place home. What we're offering at 82 and 84 Brunswick are a great mix of affordable and attainable 1-bedroom units, as well as a large 2-bed and a large 3-bedroom unit. I'd like to talk about the location of the site. We are located in the central neighborhood as outlined in Appendix C, which outlines parking requirements as 1 parking space for the first dwelling unit and then 0.3 parking spaces for each additional dwelling unit, effectively making the number of parking spaces required for a 2 to 4 unit property 2 parking spaces, regardless of if it's 2 units, 3 units, or 4 units. The zoning is Res 4, which even prior to the City of Kitchener allowing 4 units on any residential lot, this zone allowed up to 4 units. Located on the left-hand side of the property is a single-family home with their driveway running adjacent to what will be 84 Brunswick, allowing for additional space between those 2 homes. To the right hand and rear of the site is a multi-story apartment building and parking lot known as Margaret Place, with the next single-family home on Brunswick being separated by over 80 meters of green space. As for the minor variances we're requiring, the front yard landscaping, we are asking for a reduction from 20% to 15% and 17% respectively, and there have been many previous cases where front yard landscaping reduction has been granted. For the rear yard setback, we are asking to go from 7.5 meters to 6.6 and 5.1 meters. Now for clarity, I'd like you to look at the plans and notice the shape of the lot, and the measurements being taken are the closest distance from the rear lot line to the building. So for 84 Brunswick, the closest corner will be 5.1 meters, but the other side of the building will be closer to 6.6. And for 82 Brunswick, the shorter distance is 6.6 meters, but on the other side, we're well over the 7.5 meter setback. As for the minimum parking width, we are asking to increase the parking width from the maximum of 3 meters to 5.2 meters to allow a double-wide driveway. This is to facilitate the 2 parking space requirement we need without having to go with a single-wide driveway and garage and introduce tandem parking. We've heard the neighbors' concerns about traffic. I have to say, I think it will be worse for traffic if tenants are constantly changing their cars back and forth to allow each other in and out. In addition, we have notes from the Transportation Department saying they have no concerns. Bottom line is that we just think it's more practical to have it double wide. Now, for clarity on this as well, we intend to give one parking space to each of the larger units and have the one-bedroom units without parking. They will, however, have the required biking storage. I know firsthand that there is a market for tenants without parking, and they are sick of paying more in rents because they pay for those parking spaces that come with the units when they just aren't going to use it. This is where the affordable and attainable units come in. With the housing crisis that we are in, we hear a lot about attainable units, but if you look for a definition of what this is, you'll be hard-pressed to find it. Now, how we interpret an attainable unit is less than market rents, but not quite at the level of affordable guidelines. By offering no parking and without all the overhead compared to large condo buildings, we can offer an attainable price. For example, a 500 square foot condo in the city rents between $1,800 and $2,000 a month. We could offer these closer to $1,600 a month. In addition to this, with the current plan and the revenue we can generate from the larger units, as opposed to doing one beds and studios for all the units, we're in a position and we are able to make a commitment to making one unit on each side of the semi an affordable unit for 10 years based on CMHC guidelines. Now, when we talk about the missing middle, it's our belief that this is exactly what we're talking about. We are talking about building smaller infill developments with a wide range of unit mixes that are well thought out and planned. We are very proud of this project, and we hope that we can have an economical and social impact on the City of Kitchener. And now I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thanks for that, Matt. Any questions from committee members? Member Marco?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions, if that's all right. What benefit do you and the community get for severing the lot? Because we've seen a few lot severances, and I'm just curious what benefit we get from the severance.
For the lot severance in particular? Just adding more housing. There's a couple things to that note. First off, we want to increase, our unit supply within the city. I think that it's very clear that we do need additional units within the city. And I think it's clear that we do need more larger units in terms of 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom units. Now, in order for any development to make sense, it has to be feasible financially and has to make sense on the development side of things. Now, I know that that's not the main concern of the committee here, and it's not the main concern of the neighbors. But the reality is, for a project to continue and for housing to be built, it needs to be financially feasible or things just won't get built. And the reality is, in this market, when you look at the conditions of the market itself in terms of the pricing for the land, when you look at the construction costs, when you look at the development charges and the interest rate environment that we're in, the only way to make this feasible is by doing a severance and by doing more units.
A follow-up?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for outlining the missing middle. That's definitely something that I'm aware of. I think one of my follow-up questions, I think, so staff is certainly concerned about the width of the driveways, and they feel that that can't be supported. How would you feel about requesting a parking variance instead and going with a single wide parking or a driveway?
I mean, that's definitely something we would consider. Again, when we put this plan together, we really want to put together what we thought was the most practical and made the most sense. I mean, if that's something that the committee and the neighbors would get on board with, I think that is something we would consider. I think it's optimal for us to have a parking space for each of the larger units. So that's why we put this together, and we thought it was reasonable. However, I mean, I'm sure we could discuss that and would be open to that. The bottom line for us is that we have a plan to do the 4 units on each lot as of right, and we can move forward with that. And we didn't need to be here today. We didn't need to take the extra time and money and effort to go through to be here today to put forward a project that we think is most desirable, frankly, for everyone. in order for us to have the project make sense, we have to do 4 units on each lot. And if we can't get the variance here today that allows us to do that, then we'll have to move forward with our other plan. We went out and we met some of the neighbors over the weekend after hearing some of their commentary from the letters. We went and knocked on some doors. We don't want to be fighting with the community on this at all. When Amy first received the first letter of concern from a neighbor, she immediately reached out to the city and said, please pass my contact information along. We'd love to have a discussion. It never transpired to anything. We never got in contact. On Friday, when we received the staff notes, when we received a few more letters of concern, we thought, you know what, let's go out on Sunday and talk to some of the people in the community, because we feel like the majority of their concerns were around there's not enough parking or it was too many units. And the reality is those are things that are as of right, and those we're going to move forward either way. Most of the families and the people that we talked to said, this is a family community, we don't want smaller units. Well, the reality is, if we don't get this here today, that will be the plan. So we're really looking to work with the community. We want to work with you guys on this. If we could look for an overall reduction of parking, I think that's something we could look at. We just thought that this was the most desirable way to go for the tenants moving forward.
Any more questions from committee members? Amanda?
Sure. When I was reviewing the plan, the square footage of the units are notably small. I'm wondering if you could speak to anticipated tenants and how that necessarily fits in with the sort of community at large.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would agree with you that the 1-bedroom units are on the smaller side. They're about 500 square feet. However, when you look at an average 1-bedroom condo that goes up, it's right around that as well. That's just the nature of 1-bedroom units these days. By doing it this way for those units in particular, a huge benefit to us is the attainable and affordable aspects. We love being able to offer that. In terms of the 2- and 3-bedroom units, they're 1,000 square foot units. I don't see those as being necessarily small. I mean, if you compare them to a 2,000 square foot home or a 1,500 square foot townhouse or something like that, yeah, they're on the smaller side, but there's a need for that within the city, right? If you look at a market rent for some of these larger homes, you're $3,500, $4,000 a month. Families just can't afford that. A family with a couple of kids needs a 3-bedroom home, but they can't go pay $3,500 to $4,000 a month. So by doing it as a part of a development project like this, that I think is a perfect fit for this missing middle, it allows us to offer it at a price that is also attainable for them. So I think it's just an overall good fit.
Thank you. Any other more questions? Seeing none, any questions for city staff from committee members? If I'm seeing none, I'll wait for a motion. Member Bob?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree with some of the issues brought forward by the applicant. I do understand the missing middle. I do understand the need for intensification. I also know the financial challenges on getting affordable housing. Well, affordable is relative to who you are. Having said that, I'm in agreement with staff on this, that it does not completely meet 4 tests. And so as a slight diversion here, I'd like to thank all the members of the community for showing up, and I like to see communities work together. That's nice. So I'm going to move that this be approved as, well, it's going to be refused, but I'm in support of the staff report, so I move that this be refused as per the staff report.
So Member Bob moved to support the staff recommendation, which is a refusal. Look for a seconder.
Yep.
Member Marco. So I'll now open the floor for debate and discussion.
I think it sounds to me like most of this, and at least the units and the building itself, can probably go ahead, and it's really just the parking. I'm curious what my fellow members feel about, if we were, would we rather have a parking reduction variance or a parking lot in front? No, I think I would prefer less parking because, especially when it's unbundled from the units, prospective tenants know ahead of time that there isn't any parking available. But
Yeah, I'll speak on this. Like, I'm supporting the motion that's on the floor, which is the refusal. I understand we're in a housing crisis. I understand we need more units. I understand that we need more family-friendly units, and I do appreciate the efforts to get that done with this project and with this variance. But I don't like this parking situation, how it's done up, where it's just a lack of landscaping. We've seen other places and it doesn't work. So for that reason, I'm going to support the refusal of this, and hopefully they can work together with city staff and come up with a solution that works better. And I understand there's like the threat of as of right 4 units, but hopefully this project can work out in a better way than is currently planned out right now. Because I just, I don't like the way it looks with parking. So any other more discussion or debate from committee members? All right.
I think to Member Marco's point about parking, even if we were to recommend a parking variance, I believe that would just make the traffic situation so much worse for the people in the community as they outlined. I definitely don't think that that would be the best way or the best use in terms of parking, but if you can come up with a solution to maybe have the parking work and maybe not have as many units, that might be a good solution and a good middle ground. But I'm also in support of Member Bob's motion.
Am I able to speak, or?
Not at this point, though, as well. You had your opportunity then to challenge. Do you have something new to say? I'll give you that opportunity. But at this point, we're just in debate right now. Do you have something new to say, Matt?
Yeah, I would just like to touch on the fact that if we don't move forward with this, it's going to be the other option that we have as of right. It's just going to be smaller units. We're still going to have 2 spots. It's going to be a garage, and it's going to be a single wide driveway. And I think that I would even love to hear from the community members if they would prefer that over what we've proposed here today that offers the larger units, because I think that there's a misunderstanding in terms of thinking that if this gets refused here today, that we're just going to knock it down in unit count and go to 2 units per side or something, which honestly just doesn't work, and would just go the as of right road and go the smaller units and the detached ADUs in the back, which is going to require us to cut down more trees in the back. They're smaller units. I just don't see why that is a more appealing way to go than what we've presented here today. So I'm confused by that.
Yeah, I appreciate your comments. We're here just to look at the variances on parking, and that's what we're focused on. And we have the motion on the floor, a seconder, and we've had some debate. Any other comments? Marco?
I'm curious what my fellow members think about the rear yard setback, because it sounds like most of the concerns are with the parking. Personally, I'm less concerned about the rear yard setback, and it's not, I think, that would have an impact on what the applicant wants to do.
So what's your question, Member Marco?
There might be an opportunity to split the parking and the rear lot setback. I think 2 separate motions. That's just an option.
I'm a bit confused by that, and I think like what we're looking for is just like what's on the floor here, if it's trying to like change or amend the motion as it stands. But if I can lean on perhaps staff to speak to Member Marco's comments, if that's okay.
Yes, I can provide some clarification. You are able to separate out the variances if you so wish to do that and amend the motion. You can also recommend deferral if you feel that the application should be amended to include different variances and come back to the committee. So it's up to the committee this morning. We just have provided the recommendation refusal in totality, just given the proposal, but you have that right to separate the variances.
Thank you for that. So, Member Marco, if you want to make that amendment, go for it.
Yeah, if Bob would allow me, I believe that's the way it works. I would like to perhaps amend and remove the rear lot setback from the current motion on the floor.
Okay, we need a seconder for that. Is there a seconder? I'm not seeing any, so
I would just be curious to hear from staff the comments on the rear yard setback on its own as opposed to in combination with the rest of the variances.
Yes, so the staff report did analyze the variances individually. So we did provide some commentary for the rear yard setback in the staff report. I'm just going to pull that up for you. So staff had indicated in the staff report that the 6.6 meter setback, the intent of the bylaw is being maintained with that setback. It is minor in nature given the configuration of the rear of the lot. There's sufficient vented area in the back. The 5.5 meters is a little tight, but it could work because that's at the shortest distance. There is sufficient rear yard as you move closer to the other semi-detached lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so if there's no seconder for Mayor Marco's amendment, seeing none, any further debate on the original motion? Seeing none, so I'll call for the vote, which is the refusal of this application. All those in favor of the refusal? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Moving along, A 2025-045, 191 Morgan Avenue. If I can invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application, as well as the staff recommendation, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is a minor variance application for 191 Morgan Avenue. It's a parking variance before you this morning. The requirement is 32 parking spaces, and they would like to have a variance for 16 parking spaces. This is to facilitate the development of 11 new dwelling units within an existing building having 18 units for a total of 29 dwelling units. This has gone through a site plan application and approval process, approved conditionally upon receiving approval of the minor variance. Staff have reviewed the variance in light of the 4 tests of the Planning Act, finds that it meets all 4 of those, and is recommending approval.
Thank you for that. If I can invite the agent or the applicant to come forward to the microphone. Please introduce yourself and let us know if you're in support of the staff recommendation.
Greetings. My name is Richard D'Alessandro. I'm an associate at Neo Architecture, applicant on behalf of the owner. Through you, Mr. Chair, we do support the recommendation of staff.
Thank you. If I can invite any parties that want to make oral submissions in opposition to this application. Seeing none. Do you have any comments, I'm speaking to the agent, sorry, regarding the staff recommendation, or you're okay with it?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm quite satisfied with the cooperation of staff on this file, and I have no further comments.
Thank you for that. Members of the committee, do you have any questions for the agent here? Seeing none, any questions for city staff? Seeing none, I'll look for then a motion. Member Maria?
I set a motion forth to approve the staff recommendation.
Thank you. That's moved by Member Maria. Seconder? Member Marco? And yeah, I'll open the floor for debate on this. No debate. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the approval of this application? Unanimous. So approved. Good luck.
Thank you.
Moving along, we've got A 2025-046. It's 241 Huck Crescent. If I can invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application as well as the staff recommendation.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is a minor variance application for 241 Hut Crescent. Two minor variances before you this morning. One, to permit a deck to have a rear yard setback of 3.9 meters instead of the minimum required 4 meters, and to permit sunroom to have a rear yard setback of 4.8 meters instead of the minimum required 7.5 meters. Staff have reviewed the variances in light of the four tests of the Planning Act, finds that it meets all four. Given the grade at the back of the property, it's desirable to have these different types of amenity areas associated with the detached dwelling. Staff are recommending approval subject to a condition that the owner provide and show erosion and sedimentation control measures on a plot plan for the application for building permit. And this is because the property does back onto environmentally sensitive area. It's a locally significant valley land. So our environmental planning staff have recommended that condition attached to the variance. So staff, again, have reviewed the variances in light of the four tests of Planning Act, finds that it meets all four, and is recommending approval subject to that condition.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it. If I can invite the agent of the applicant to come forward to the microphone and let us know if you reviewed the staff report and whether you are in support of it.
Hello, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Noor. I'm the agent of this application, and I support the staff report and recommendations.
Thank you for that. Anyone in opposition to this application? Seeing none. Members of the committee, any questions for the agent that's here? No. Any questions for city staff? Nope. I'll look for a motion. Member Amanda, she beat you that one, Bob.
I'll make a motion to approve in accordance with the staff report, including the one condition noted.
Cool, thank you. So that was moved by Member Amanda. I'll look for a seconder. Member Maria, thank you. Open the floor for debate on this. Member Bob.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Of all of the applications we get on a monthly basis, this one pretty much defines what a minor variance is. I mean, we're 3.9 meters versus 4.0. I'm not sure. I need my micrometer to measure that distance. So I'm in support of this application.
Thank you. Yeah, looks pretty straightforward to me. So I will call for the vote. All those in favor? Yeah, unanimous. Carried. Good luck. Moving along in the agenda, A 2025-047, 14 Jansen Avenue. If I can invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application and the staff recommendation, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is a minor variance application for 14 Jansen Avenue, requesting relief for an interior side yard setback from 7.5 to 3.2 and a parking reduction from 16 to 8 parking spaces. This is to facilitate a two-story addition to the rear of the existing building, and that's to be able to expand an existing daycare use. This application has gone through the site plan approval process and has received conditional approval subject to getting the minor variance approval. Staff have reviewed the variances in light of the four tests of the Planning Act, finds that they meet all four, and is recommending approval of both minor variances.
Thank you. If I can ask the agent or the applicant to come down to the microphone, please. Introduce yourself and let us know if you've reviewed the staff report and whether you are in support of it or not.
All right, good morning. My name's Alex from AFJ Building Design. This is Dennis, the owner-operator of the daycare, and we are both in high support of it. Thank you.
Thanks a bunch. Anyone here in the gallery that's looking to make an oral submission in opposition? Seeing none. Do you have any comments further to make? None? Committee members, any questions? Amanda?
Just a point of clarification. Am I understanding the plan correctly in that there's an existing 3-story portion and then we're just extending on the back 2 stories?
Yeah, that's correct. Where there's existing, the top part is not really used for the daycare, it's more staff, but yeah, it's just straight out the back and the same floor elevation and everything.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll be adding 55 new childcare spots to the region, is what the purpose of the building is.
Sorry, can you say, I didn't hear that. Can you say that again, please?
We're going to be adding 55 new childcare spots to the region. That's the purpose of the building.
Thank you. Any other questions, committee members? Any questions for city staff? I'll look for a motion then. Member Marco?
I will move the staff recommendation to approve.
Moved by Member Marco, seconder. Member Bob? I'll open the floor to debate. Yeah, seeing no debate on that, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Unanimous, so carried. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, next we have A 2025-048, 24 Amherst Drive. I'd like to note that the committee did receive a written submission from Silvana Di Maria, and that was taken into consideration. I will now invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application as well as the staff recommendation, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is a minor variance application for 24 Amherst Drive. Two variances before you this morning. There is a driveway widening from the width is 8 meters in the bylaw. They would like to have 8.3, and they would like an interior side yard setback of 0 meters instead of the minimum required 1.2 meters. This is to recognize an existing driveway and facilitate the conversion of the existing garage into an entry for an additional dwelling unit attached. So basically, conversion from a single detached to a duplex. Staff have reviewed the variances in light of the 4 tests of the Planning Act, finds that it meets all 4, and is recommending approval. I just want to provide a little bit of history with respect to the driveway widening, as we've had a previous driveway variance before you this morning. The required driveway variance was approved in 2013 by the Committee of Adjustment. So the applicant owner at the time installed the driveway as per the previous committee decision in 2013. However, they did not get the building permit for the duplex. So the driveway was done without the duplex permit. Now we have a new zoning bylaw, and the applicant would like to now do the conversion to a duplex, and now requires new Committee of Adjustment approval for the driveway. So it's reestablishing the approvals that were received back in 2013 to allow this additional conversion.
Thank you for that and for the clarification. If I can confirm with the applicant agent if they have reviewed the staff report and whether they're in support of recommendation. So if you can come down to the microphone, introduce yourself, and let us know if you've reviewed it and if you're in support or not.
Yes, my name is Jeff Cooper. My wife Dina and I own the property at 24 Amherst, and we're in support of the approval.
Thank you. Anyone here in the gallery looking to make an oral submission in opposition? Seeing none. Any further comments from the agent and applicant? None. Any questions for the agent and the applicant from the committee members? Any questions for city staff? No? I'll look for a motion then. Member Bob, back to your quick ways.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think this is fairly straightforward. Approvals were given under the previous zoning bylaw. Generally, I don't like to see the number 0 for a side yard setback, but they are fairly common. So I'm going to move that this application for 24 Amherst be approved as per the staff report.
Thank you. So that was moved by Member Bob. Looking for a seconder. Member Marco. Open the floor to debate. Yeah, I'm with you there, Member Bob. Seeing 0 is kind of like frustrating experience, but then seeing that this was approved before, and then given the nature of where the lot is, being on a corner kind of throws things off a little bit though as well. When you see 0, you don't like to see it, especially all that driveway, but I guess it was already approved before. Hate to change things now. So any other comments? Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote, which is to approve. Yeah, carried. It's a unanimous vote. Good luck. Yep, moving along the agenda. A 2025-049, 42 Orchard Mill Crescent. If I can invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application and the staff recommendation, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is a minor variance for 42 Orchard Mill Crescent. Another similar variance for legalizing the existing driveway. It's currently set back 0 meters from the lot line instead of the minimum required 1.2 meters. And this is again to facilitate the conversion of a garage into an entry for an additional dwelling unit, so a detached to a duplex. Staff have reviewed the variance in light of the 4 tests of the Planning Act, finds that it meets all 4 and is recommending approval. Similar to the last application, the driveway has been in existence since before 2009 without a history of complaint or concerns from abutting neighbors. So again, staff finds that the variance meets the 4 tests of the Planning Act and is recommending approval.
Yep, thank you for that. If I can invite the agent applicant to come forward, let us know if you reviewed the staff report and whether you're in support of the staff recommendation.
Yes, I'm in approval. Supporting of the approval.
All right, thank you. Any parties in opposition would like to make oral submissions? Seeing none. Any questions for the applicant? None. Any questions, city staff? None. I'll look for a motion. Member Marco?
I will move the staff recommendation to approve.
Thank you. So moved by Member Marco, seconded by Member Bob. Floor is open for debate. Member Bob.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is almost a carbon copy of the previous application, so I'm in support of this. I've put forward the motion, and so, yeah, that's all I have to say on that. I think it should move ahead.
Thank you. If no other further debate, I will call for the vote. All those in favor? Unanimous. So carried. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, moving along, A 2025-050, 244 Samuel Street. We did have a member of the committee that declared a conflict of interest. So I'll just ask Member Amanda to step out, and then as soon as we're done, we'll come get you. Thank you. Okay, so if I can invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application and the staff recommendation, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is a minor variance application for 244 Samuel Street. 2 variances before you this morning to permit a maximum driveway width of 8 meters instead of the maximum permitted 4.7, and to permit a driveway to be located 0.5 meters from the rear lot line, which is a side lot line as it relates to the driveway, whereas the bylaw requires 1.2 meters. And this is conditional or ensuring that there is a 1.8 meter high wood privacy fence along the portion of the rear lot line shared with 100 Sterling Avenue North. I'm going to give a little bit of explanation as to why this driveway widening is being supported by staff. The driveway width is dependent on the front lot line. And in this case, the front lot line is not, I'm just getting the location map up here. So the front lot line is technically, the longer lot line, sorry, is Sterling Avenue. The property has frontage on Samuel Street, which is the front lot line, and which is where the driveway width is taken. So that's why the driveway is only permitted to be 4.7 meters. It's 40% of the lot width along Samuel Street. So technically the driveway, if it were permitted along Sterling Avenue, if that was the lot that was being taken, the width that was being taken, it would comply with the zoning bylaw in this case. And staff also note that the width of the driveway at its widest point is the 8.3 meters, sorry, the 8 meters. The driveway is singular as in front of the garage and then at the side of the dwelling. So staff have recommended approval of the variances as they meet the 4 tests of the Planning Act.
Thank you, city staff. If I can invite the agent and the applicant to come forward to the microphone, please. Please introduce yourself. Let us know if you've reviewed the staff report and whether you're in support of it. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Nicholas Doms. This is my father, William. We're here in support of the application.
Thank you. Agent or the owner, sorry, you said?
Owner.
Owners?
Both owners.
Thank you. Any parties in the gallery would like to make oral submissions in opposition? I'm not seeing any. Any comments from the owners here?
Not at this time.
None? Any questions for the owners here? Member Marco?
Yeah, just a quick one. I see a tree on the side by the fence. Is the tree going to stay?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I see a tree on near the corner of the lot by the fence. Is that tree going to stay?
The tree is going to stay, yes.
Perfect.
Any further questions? None? Any questions for city staff? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion. Member Bob?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think this is fairly straightforward. So I'm going to move that this application be approved as per the staff report.
Thank you. Moved by Member Bob. Looking for a seconder. Member Maria. I'll open the floor for debate. This looks like another one where it's just a tricky corner lot that kind of throws off the numbers, but yeah, it looks like straightforward enough and really truly minor variance. So I will call for the vote. All those in favor, which is approval. Unanimous, carried. Good luck.
Thank you.
Gonna get, thank you so much. Got the band back together, so we'll move right along. A 2025-051, 503 Victoria Street North. If I can invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application and the staff recommendation, please.
Thank you, Chair. There are 4 minor variances before you this morning for the property at 503 Victoria Street North. 2 of the variances to permit a driveway width of 2.2 meters instead of the required 2.6, and to permit a residential building with noise mitigation to be located 3.8 meters from an arterial road or Victoria Street instead of the minimum required 12 meters. Staff have reviewed these 2 variances in light of the 4 tasks of the Planning Act and finds that they meet all 4. Metrolinx has asked for the following conditions as it relates to those to the minor variance application. So staff is recommending approval of those 2 variances conditional upon the Metrolinx conditions. The other 2 variances before you this morning are to permit an unobstructed walkway to overlap with the driveway, whereas the bylaw requires this to be completely unobstructed. And the other variance is to permit the driveway to have the same material as that unobstructed walkway, whereas the bylaw requires the driveway material to be different and distinguishable from all other ground cover. Staff have reviewed the variances in light of the 4 tests of the Planning Act and finds that these do not meet those 4 tests and is recommending refusal. The variances in total are to facilitate the development of the existing duplex dwelling into a dwelling with 4 units. Staff would also offer the commentary that there's been discussion, and we feel that the walkways or entrances to the units can be provided internally at the front, and the variance for the unobstructed walkway driveway overlap is not required. So it doesn't help the functioning of the property by having the walkway along this side of the dwelling. The driveway needs to have free and clear access to the parking at the back, which does have some challenges in itself to be complicated with a walkway. So staff are recommending refusal of those 2 variances.
Yeah, thank you for that. If I can invite the agent of the applicant to come forward to the microphone, please introduce yourself. Let us know if you reviewed the staff report and whether you're in support of the recommendation.
Hi. Good morning, members of the committee. My name is Kendall. I'm the owner of 503 Victoria Street North, and I'm here today with Jen from Fiore Design, who is our consultant. just one clarification. The plan is to permit a triplex, not 4 units right now. We are here to speak in support of the minor variance, or while staff have supported 2 of the requested variances, we respectfully appeal the other 2, asking the committee to approve all 4.
Yeah, thank you for that. Anyone in the gallery looking to make an oral submission in opposition? Seeing none, I'll now give you the opportunity, Mr. Owner, then to speak on those items that are recommended for refusal, if you want to make any further comments on those.
Okay. So the property has functioned as a non-legal triplex for years. Our goal is to do things properly, to bring the home into compliance through permits and building upgrades and zoning approval. This aligns with the city's goals for gentle intensification, efficient land use, and affordable housing while preserving neighborhood character. I won't go over the 4 variances again, but the proposal supports gentle infill with a walkable, fully serviced urban area. We're adding much needed housing with no change to the building's footprint or the visual character of the street. The overlapping walkway does not affect livability or emergency access, and staff suggested alternatives such as front-facing or side entrances will require extensive structural changes. Jen and I looked into staff suggestions, and while they're technically possible, they lead to inefficient designs resulting in awkward interior layouts, lost living space, and greater complexity. The current design is the most practical, efficient, and affordable for future tenants. The existing overlapping walkway has been in use for decades at 503 Victoria Street, and emergency personnel have had access when needed with no issues. The same condition exists at many neighboring properties, 495, 497, 415, as seen in you could see that in Google Street View if needed. And this condition is standard for the urban fabric of the block. While staff raise concerns about the unobstructed walkway overlapping the driveway, this exact configuration has existed on site for decades without incident. And it is a little more urban than maybe what was typically done in the past. The driveway, or what we're calling the driveway up to the back, no cars will ever park in there, or else they will not allow other cars who are parked in the back to get out onto the street. And we are also proposing, if we can propose changing the walk or that access way, we will have no problem changing the whole access way to brick paving or something, which will be separate from the parking pavement at the back. And that access way / driveway will act as the primary walkway. A couple other points. There are no physical changes being proposed to the driveway or building footprint. This is a formalization of long-standing functioning conditions. From a CPTED point of view, crime prevention through environmental design perspective, overlapping walkway actually improves site safety and visibility. The shared surface maintains a clear, well-lit, and visible side yard, which enhances natural surveillance. Compared to constructing a separate tucked-away walkway, this layout helps keep pedestrian access in the open, reducing hiding spots, improving sight lines, and supporting the safety of both residents and visitors. This design aligns with best practices for defensible space and low-risk residential intensification. The variances meet the 4 tests. It maintains the intent of the official plan and zoning bylaw, is minor in nature. The impact of the overlapping walkway and shared surfacing is minimal, manageable, and fully in character with the neighborhood. The variances are desirable. Reconfiguring the building, putting entrances on other sides, or changing the way the entrances work is invasive and would disrupt a well-functioning internal layout. The current design respects the existing streetscape and delivers a quality third unit without overbuilding or visual disruption. And it supports the appropriate development of the property. This is a smart upgrade to a structure that already functions in this way. We're just making it legal, safe, and well-designed for the tenants. We've made a sincere effort to do the right thing with this home to bring it into compliance, improve its safety and function, and provide an efficient and affordable space for a third household. This is a modest request to keep using the building in a way that it has functioned for years, using the layout that's already proven safe and consistent with neighboring homes. On behalf of Jen and myself, we respectfully ask the committee to approve all 4 variances.
Thank you for that. Any questions from committee members? Marco.
Yeah, I have a suggestion / question for staff and the applicant, if that's all right. So one of the things that crossed my mind, since there's concerns about getting in and out of the parking at the back, given that it's a sharp angle, what do we think about having 2 angled parking spaces in the back rather than 3 90-degree parking spaces?
Through the chair, I think would want to make sure that people can actually drive in and reverse out. So I'm not opposed to proposing 2 angled parking spaces at the back, but we do have some criteria for those kinds of things, like the drive aisle width and what type of angle it is, and the width of, and then the length of the stall itself.
My understanding was that the current parking doesn't necessarily meet those criteria, and I guess my initial thought was that maybe having angled parking would perhaps help, make it a little bit easier to get in and out.
It could, as long as it functions properly. Right, you're right, correct. As is proposed today, I don't really think the parking spaces are going to function with a 3-meter drive aisle at 90 degrees. But if the applicant proposes an angled parking spaces, we'd like to review it just to make sure that it does work.
To the applicant, what do you think of having angled parking in the back instead?
Hi, we're definitely willing to explore it, and especially since we do have designated bike storage, we will definitely look into that with the 2 parking spaces and angled.
Or, the applicant, I support even 2 angled spaces or just 2 spaces. So like right now we're showing 3 spaces, but if we just, if you're willing to allow us to go to 2 spaces, then we even have more room to, I hear you about reversing out, staff, and currently people drive in forward, then they do a 3-point turn and they always go out the street. They never reverse out onto Victoria. And I can say that they always go very slowly because everybody knows that Victoria is a very busy, or all the tenants know that Victoria is a very busy street and there's pedestrians walking up and down the sidewalk a lot. So they are very cognizant that they have to be cautious. And, or sorry, I'll just finish with this, we can also control, like we tell the tenants, hey, there's no parking in the driveway, and everybody respects that, because if I parked in the driveway, then Jen would, if she needed to get out, she wouldn't be able to get out. So it's just common courtesy, but we can reinforce that with we do reinforce that with our tenants. Sorry.
Go ahead. Through the chair, I just want to provide a comment on that. I think what the applicant is talking about, the existing parking, I think is a lot closer to the property line, which may allow for those movements. What's proposed today won't. I just want to make that clear.
Thank you for that clarification. Mayor Amanda?
Just a question for staff. The applicant mentioned this property has been sitting and used this way for 30 plus years. I'm just wondering if you can comment on sort of the status of the property and whether there's legal conforming use possibility or how that unfolded.
So it's my understanding that the applicant would like to legitimize or legalize the 3 units. I understand it's been operating as 3 units, but there's no formal record on city staff that this is a legal use of the property. So it came as a result of a building permit, is my understanding. They wanted to add a new entrance rather than adding one door to the existing shared entrance. So because they want to add the new entrance, it requires that unobstructed walkway at the side of the dwelling, which has necessitated the need for the variances. So it's to recognize the driveway. That's not 2.6 meters, it's 2.2, and to permit that overlap of unobstructed walkway and driveway, which the bylaw does not allow. I just want to clarify that our emergency services staff says it does, never said it does not affect emergency services. It could in the future, and that's the reason why there's no support. It hasn't been an issue to date, but that's not to say that it couldn't be an issue in the future, and it's not something that we want to get into the practice of legitimizing. There would still be parking issues in the driveway. You may have visitors, contractors, deliveries, dropping things off and blocking that driveway. So it would be better not to have the unobstructed walkway at the side of the home. It would be better to construct a new entrance where the existing shared entrance exists now. That's my understanding from staff who've worked on this file. I'd be happy to answer any other questions as it relates to this. I guess what I would be interested in terms of the construction costs and why it's not feasibly possible to construct this shared entrance or additional entrance and as it relates to the construction costs.
Cool. If I can pass on those questions in the owner, I do appreciate your efforts to formalize what's already been used as a triplex, but to that question, how difficult would it be then to create a shared entranceway at the front of the home?
So the shared entranceway at the front of the home, it's not really the cost. It's more, we're taking about 20% of the usable square footage of the ground floor unit out by creating, or like us recapturing the shared entrance at the front of the home allows us to make a better quality ground floor unit, and that will increase the square footage of the ground floor unit by about 20%. So that's why we want to make a better quality unit for the ground floor rather than the shared entrance. And we also have an entrance going into the basement that is off of the west side of the house, and that stair goes directly underneath the existing stair going up. If we had to create a path on the other side, we have to create two new pathways, one that goes on the east side with a new stair going down to the basement unit, and then this shared entrance that would go to the ground floor unit and the second floor unit. So it's more about quality is what we're trying to do.
Thank you. And just follow up, all 3 units are currently rented?
Sorry. The basement unit and the ground floor unit are rented. The second floor / attic unit is not rented.
Thank you. And then how many cars do those 2 units have at present?
They have one car. Actually, they have 2 cars, one each.
Any other questions from the committee members? Amanda?
Just so I'm understanding the plans, so with the shared entrance, am I correct in understanding like we're losing essentially from the ground floor and having to be placed elsewhere, the shower and the toilet area, is that correct? Just wondering if you had a sense of 20% is 20%, but I'm just wondering if you had a sense of exactly like what square footage we'd be losing.
When we looked at the main floor plan and decided to eliminate the shared entrance, we could basically put the whole bathroom in there, and it created a much better flow for the main floor unit. Right now, with that, if we were to leave that shared entrance and leave that chunk the way it is. It's a very disconjointed layout. The bathroom is way in the back of the unit, way nowhere close to the bedrooms, and it just, the flow was better. Just the use of space just was really, really much more optimal.
Thank you. Any more questions? Any questions for city staff? No, I'll look for a motion. Open if you guys want to separate these things, though, as well, if it makes it easier, but need that as a motion. You can package them up or separate them, whatever you think would work best.
If I can jump in, Mr. Chair, I thought about the concept of separating them as well, but that doesn't solve the problem. I think the underscoring fact here is that this has been operating for decades without a problem. So I appreciate staff's concern about the access not being unobstructed, but there are ways around that that can be done. So overall, Mr. Chair, I am in support of the applicant, and that, well, staff has said the first two, they recommend approval. It's the other two that they don't. I think those other two can be solved without much concern. So I'm going to support the applicant's requests completely. So that's where I'm sitting.
Okay, thank you. So the motion is to approve all 4 variances. Okay. So that's member Bob's motion is to approve all 4. Need a seconder? No seconder. So I'll need another motion then. Member Marco?
Yeah, since there doesn't seem to be much concern about the first two, I will just start with those. I will make a motion for the first 2 variances to approve, as per the staff report.
Okay, thank you. So Member Marco's motion is to approve the first 2 variances, which the staff does support. So a seconder on that? Member Maria? I'll open the floor to debate on those 2 first variances. Any debate on that? None. I will call for the vote. All those in favor of the first 2 variances on this application? All are in favor, unanimous. So those 2 are carried. So then we'll need a motion for the second, or the third and fourth variance, pardon me. Mayor Marco?
Can I ask a question of staff? If we were to defer the other 2, do you think there would be any possible rearrangement of the parking that could resolve staff's concerns?
No. The staff concern really relates to the driveway and overlap at the front with the walkway as it goes to the back of the property. I would just like to clarify in terms of the 2 other variances and the overlap, this situation has existed for a number of years, although what's happening before you is there's renovations that are required. There's a new entrance, and they want to relocate the bathroom, which does necessitate a review of the application. Is it functioning appropriately in accordance with the zoning bylaw? And currently, our zoning bylaw requires an unobstructed walkway for emergency services, and it overlaps with the driveway. So what they're doing to legalize is causing problems. And we can't, just because 3 units existed does not mean that they should exist in perpetuity this way. They need to be corrected.
Thank you, city staff. Just still looking in for a motion on the third and fourth variance.
Yeah, I guess I just wanted to make a comment just to echo city's points. Like, there is a legal test for legal nonconforming, and there's an avenue for that. So if that's something the applicant has and done unsuccessfully or wants to pursue, that's their prerogative. It's just not, that's not what we're doing here. So I'd make a motion to refuse those last two variances in accordance with the staff report.
Excellent, thank you. So Member Amanda supports staff recommendation, which is refusal of those last two variances. Can I get a seconder? Member Marco, I'll open the floor up for debate. I'll start off. Yeah, I am in agreement with that though too. Even though this has operated for many years as 3 units, doesn't mean that it makes it right. I think the property is challenged. It's just it's a small lot, 37 feet by 80. Really tricky, and overlapping walkway with driveway is just extremely tight for emergency services. And even where it is on the street though too, being on Victoria there close to Filbert, I do have some concerns there. So yeah, I support the refusal of these two variances because of those issues. Member Marco.
Yeah, I know we've heard from some other applications in the past. I think there was one going to an ADU in the backyard, and I don't really want to step on the toes of emergency services because, and I understand that the existing condition may function on most days, and it only takes one day where it's busy, maybe there's visitors or there's a contractor and something happens. It may not be likely, and it may never be a problem, but yeah, I don't really want to step on the toes of emergency services, unfortunately.
Thanks, Member Marco. Any further debate? No, I will call for the vote. All those in favor of the refusal of these two variances? I see 4 in favor. All those in opposition? 1. So 4 to 1. It's carried in the refusal. So thank you. Good luck. I do appreciate you trying to make things right, though, in your efforts. Wish you the best, and hopefully can find a solution for these units. So thank you. Yeah, moving along, A 2025-052 and A 2025-053. We're looking at 573 and 575 Guelph Street. If I can invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application and the staff recommendation, please.
Thank you, Chair. 2 minor variances before you this morning, very minor in nature, both to legalize a lot width of 7.4 meters instead of the required 7.5, and an interior side yard setback of 0.9 meters instead of the 1.2 meters. Staff may, the committee may remember these applications previously before you. There was a consent last year. That was before maybe some of the members of the committee. The survey came back, and unfortunately, the lot width did not quite comply with the minimum. So the applicants before you this morning to legalize the lot width in the side yard of this existing semi-detached dwelling. Staff have reviewed the variances in light of the 4 tests. The Planning Act finds that it meets all 4 and is recommending approval.
Yeah, thank you for that. If I can invite the agent and the applicant to introduce themselves, let us know if you reviewed the staff report and whether you are in support of the staff recommendation, please.
Good morning, John Crummer. I am one of the owners. I have reviewed it and I'm in support.
Thank you. Invite any parties that'd like to make opposition or make oral submissions that are in opposition. Seeing none. Do you have any comments regarding the staff recommendation?
The only comment I'll say is we took it over from it being half built. So we were kind of relying on previous applications and owner information. So we didn't know this was a problem until the severance came in place. So we kind of stuck here, but it is minor in nature. It's 2 centimeters essentially, which could be a rounding error. But other than that, that's my only comments.
Yeah, thank you for that. Members, do you have any questions for the agent/owner here? Member Amanda, and then Marco.
Just a question for staff. I think we received comments from Hydro One for this property. How do those typically get handled for this particular lot?
Yes, so they will be reviewed as part of the building permit application that is still in process and still needs final sign-off. Usually there's some consultation between Hydro and our building staff, so I'm not quite sure why the comments from Menava came through as they did, but that will be followed up through the building permit.
Thank you.
Member Marco?
Yeah, just for everyone's benefit, I do see a door on the side. I think there's one on both sides. And my question to the applicant, is that access to the basement, a potential future basement unit?
The current design is an unfinished basement. There's still interior access from the main floor. It was put in by the previous owner in their design, probably just to provide more flexibility down the road. But yeah, there's still interior access, so yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to draw attention to that since the, if the side yard setback is 0.9 meters, if there's ever a walkway to that door, I believe the requirement is 1.1 meters. So that would require a variance if that basement does become a unit in the future. I mean, that's not before us today, but I just figured I would mention it.
Thanks, Mayor Marco. Any other questions? Any questions, committee members, for city staff? Yeah, seeing none, I'll look for a motion. Mayor Marco?
I will move the staff recommendation to approve.
Great, thank you. Says Member Marco made that motion to approve. Seconder, Member Bob. Open the floor for debate. Yeah, I think pretty straightforward. This is really, truly very minor in nature. So I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Unanimous. Carried. Good luck. Next off, we have B/2025-014, Part 3, Reference Plan 58R7207, DSD 2025-231, 508 Fall Harvest Place. If I can invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application and the staff recommendation, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is a consent application. The applicant is proposing to sever a triangular-shaped parcel of land from lands owned by the GRCA and convey it as a lot addition to the property addresses 508 Fall Harvest Place. Staff have reviewed the consent application in light of provincial, regional, and city policies and finds that it meets all of those. Staff is recommending approval subject to a number of conditions, one of which ensures that the severed parcel is consolidated with the property on 508 Fall Harvest Place.
Thank you. If I can invite the agent or applicant to come forward. Please introduce yourself and if you reviewed the staff report and whether you're in support of it.
Good morning. My name is Tony Bocchino. I've reviewed the staff report. I am the applicant and the owner's agent.
Thank you for that. Anyone in the gallery would like to make any oral submissions in opposition? Seeing none. Any further comments?
None.
None. Any questions for the agent here from committee members? Mayor Marco?
A quick point of clarification for staff is it seems like in the report, the environmental planning comments, that there's no development proposed. My understanding is that that's referring specifically to the area that is being conveyed. It does look like they're putting stuff on the lot, but it's just not that part in the rear.
That's correct, yes. So the rest of the property can be developed, just that triangular piece of property.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? Any questions for city staff? No, we'll need a motion then. Mayor Marco.
I will move the staff recommendation to approve.
Awesome. So Member Marco made that move that we approve. A seconder? Member Maria, floor is open for debate. Seeing none, looks pretty straightforward. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Unanimous, carried. Good luck. And I guess you don't have to go very far, likely. Yeah, next on the agenda, we have 2025-015, Part 3, Reference Plan 58R 7207, 512 Harvest Place. So if I can ask the planning coordinator to introduce the application and staff recommendation, please.
Yes, so a similar application to 508. This application is for 512. Similar application severing a triangular-shaped piece of land from the GRCA to convey as a lot addition to the property address is 512 Fall Harvest Place. Staff have reviewed the consent in light of provincial, regional, and city policies, finds that it meets all of those, is recommending approval subject to a number of conditions. And again, of note is a condition that requires the consolidation of this parcel with 512 Fall Harvest Place.
Thank you for that. Sorry to make you go through this again, but just for the record, if you can say your name, if you've read the report, and if you're in support.
Yes, my name is Tony Bocchino. I have reviewed the staff report. I am the applicant and owner's agent, and everything is fine.
Excellent, thank you. Anyone in the gallery like to make an oral submission opposition? Seeing none. Any questions for the agent? None. Any questions, city staff? None. Look for a motion, please. Maria.
I put a motion forth to accept the staff recommendation.
Thank you, says Member Maria. Seconder, Member Bob. Floor is open for debate. If I see no debate, I'll just call for the vote, another straightforward one, same as last one. So all those in favor? Unanimous, carried. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, next off we have B 2025-016, 1950 Fisher-Hallman Road. If I can invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application and staff recommendation, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is a consent application for a long-term lease for 1950 Fisher-Hallman Road, and this is to facilitate a long-term lease with the McDonald's restaurant. In accordance with the site plan application, it's attached to the application. Staff have reviewed this consent in light of provincial, regional, and city policies and finds that it meets all of those and is recommending approval subject to conditions.
Wonderful, thank you. If I can ask the agent or applicant to come forward, introduce yourself, let us know if you reviewed the staff report and whether you're in support of the recommendation.
Good morning, members of the committee and staff. My name is Michael Serra. I work for GSP Group as a planner here representing the client. We have reviewed the staff report and the recommendation and the conditions listed therein, and I'm here in support of the staff report's recommend for approval. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Anyone in the gallery in opposition? Seeing none, I don't suppose you have any further comments?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the agent? None. Any questions for city staff? Just a quick one. Is it after 20 years you need a variance? Just out of curiosity.
In excess of 21 years.
21? Okay, thank you. Member Bob.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to follow up on your comment, we do get these from time to time, and I'm sorry if I'm delaying the meeting here. What's the rationale behind the 21 years? Not that I'm going to be here in 21 years to review it.
Yeah, good question. 21 is what's noted in the Planning Act, so it's something the province has determined and decided. It's a long term. And typically there could be a default on a mortgage and a resale of the property, so you have to make sure that it's conveyable so they can recoup any mortgage or costs, financial costs.
Okay, that was just one of my notorious dumb questions, and so yeah, that clarifies that. I'm in support of this, Mr. Chair. I think there's really no impact to anyone, and I think the applicant would like to carry on running the business.
Sounds good. So is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Thank you. Seconder? Member Marco? Any debate? Not seeing any. I will call for the vote. All those in favor? Unanimous. Carried. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, next we have B 2025-017 and A 2025-054. 864 King Street West. If I can invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application and staff recommendation, please.
Yes, two applications before you this morning for 864 King Street East. One is to sever the property into two to permit a phased development. The second application is for minor variances. There's a number of them to recognize the building that has been conditionally approved for that portion of the property. They're technically technical variances in nature, as it's really just a lot line adjustment. The lot line is being proposed to allow a phased development here for financing purposes. So staff have reviewed the variance in light of the four tasks of the Planning Act, finds that it meets all four and is recommending approval. And staff have reviewed the consent application in light of provincial, regional, and city policies and finds that it meets all of those subject to a number of conditions.
Yeah, thank you for that. If I can invite the agent applicant to come to the microphone, please introduce yourself, if you've read the staff report, and if you are in support of it. Thank you.
My name is Craig Dumart. I'm a development consultant here on behalf of 5 Developments. And yes, I've read the staff report and just want to note the consent application is also creating a blanket easement over both properties for servicing and access.
Thank you for that. Anyone in the gallery here in opposition that'd like to make an oral submission? None. Any further comments from the agent? None. Any questions for the agent? Marco?
Yeah, just a tiny thing. When I first saw the numbers, excuse me, when I first saw the numbers, my first thought was building code, and you need space between window frontage and whatnot. But it seems like this is all interior, and it's effectively going to be one building when it's all said and done, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the agent? Any questions for city staff? No. I'll look for a motion. Member Marco?
I will move the staff recommendation to approve.
Member Marco made the motion to approve the staff report. Seconder? Member Maria? Floor is open for debate. Yeah, if there's no debate, I'll call for the, oh, sorry, Member Bob.
Seeing this is the last report before us today, I don't think some of these variances would qualify as minor, at least in my mind. When you've got 2.2 versus 48, that's a significant difference. And we're back to this other one of zeros. I don't like zeros because what happens to the adjacent property? Having said that, I will support this application with some concern.
Yeah, thanks for those comments. I agree with you there. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, just other than making sense from a financing perspective to do this in phases versus all at once. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Otherwise, looking at it, I don't quite understand it either. But for the purpose of moving this project along, I guess that's what's in front of us. So we'll vote on that. So if I can call for the vote. All those in favor? Unanimous? Carried. Good luck. Excellent. So I don't see anything else on our agenda unless I missed something. I think that's it. So motion to adjourn. Member Bob, quick again. I like it. Seconder, Marco, and yeah. Meeting adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate it.